Imagine lying on your deathbed and realizing, for the very first time, that the life you spent decades building was never really yours. Every choice you made, every sacrifice, every promotion, every yes and every no, all shaped by what others expected. And now, with only days left, you can't go back. That's not a scene from a horror movie. That's the haunting reality of Ivan Ilyich, a man who had everything society told him to chase, but nothing that gave his life meaning. And if we're honest, many of us are closer to Ivan than we'd like to admit. Section 1. The perfect life facade. Success can be the most convincing mask for emptiness. Ivan Ilyich was a respected high court judge in 19th century Russia. From the outside, he had it all. Wealth, prestige, a beautiful home, social standing, and a family. To his colleagues, his life looked perfect. To society, he was a success story. But here's the hidden truth. Ivan didn't choose this life because it was meaningful. He chose it because it was safe, because it was respectable, because it was what others expected of him. And so he built a flawless facade. Dinners, promotions, witty conversations at parties. While inside, his soul was starving. Question. Think about your own life. How much of what you do is because you truly want it? And how much is because it looks good to others? Section 2. The crack in the foundation. The truth doesn't whisper. It breaks through like a hammer. For Ivan, the crack came unexpectedly. One day, he fell while hanging curtains in his house. What seemed like a minor accident turned into a slow, relentless illness. Doctors couldn't cure him. His pain grew worse. And suddenly, the man who had controlled courtrooms and commanded respect couldn't control his own body. But here's the deeper pain. It wasn't just physical. The real agony was the creeping suspicion that his entire life had been built on lies. Every smile at a party, every calculated career move, every carefully chosen word to impress others, they all began to feel hollow. Question. When was the last time you had to stop and ask yourself, am I really living my own truth, or just playing a role? Section 3. The unraveling. Sometimes illness doesn't just attack the body. It exposes the soul. As Ivan's sickness worsened, the mask he'd worn for decades began to slip. His colleagues avoided him. His so-called friends came to visit, but only out of duty. Even his family showed more annoyance than compassion. And that's when it hit him. The life he'd built wasn't a fortress. It was a fragile stage set. And now the curtain was falling. He realized he'd spent years chasing the appearance of success while ignoring the reality of meaning. He had climbed the ladder, yes, but it was leaning against the wrong wall. So, question. What ladders are you climbing right now? And when you reach the top, will it actually matter? Section 4. Rock bottom and revelation. Your lowest point might be the first time you see clearly. As Ivan lay dying, something strange happened. His despair reached a breaking point, And out of that darkness came a piercing light of awareness. He saw, maybe for the first time in his life, that the pursuit of social approval had stolen his authenticity. That the little joys he ignored, genuine connection, kindness, love, were the very things that could have given his life depth. Ivan realized too late that the life society praised was actually a life wasted. Question: if your time ended tomorrow, would you look back with peace or with regret? Section 5. The real death and rebirth. Sometimes the old self has to die before the real self can live. In his final hours, Ivan experienced what many describe as an ego death. The false identity he had clung to, the respected judge, the charming host, the ambitious man, dissolved. And in that moment, something shifted. He stopped resisting death and, for the first time, felt compassion for those around him. In choosing to release his false life, he discovered a glimpse of freedom. This is the great irony. Only when he faced real death did Ivan finally start to live. Question: what false version of yourself needs to die so the real you can finally live? Section 6. The modern parallel. We may not be 19th century judges, but our lives are full of Ivan's illusions. Fast forward to today. We may not wear robes or hold courtrooms, but the trap is the same. Chasing promotions at jobs we secretly hate. Staying in relationships because they look good from the outside. Buying things we don't need to impress people we don't like. Posting curated lives on social media while crying in private. Our world is filled with comfort, but many of us are still spiritually empty. Like Ivan, we often realize too late that success, without authenticity, is a sophisticated form of failure. Question: what part of your life today would collapse if you stopped caring what anyone else thought? Section 7. The ripple effect of authenticity. Living authentically isn't just about you. It changes everyone around you. Ivan's story is tragic because he only saw the truth at the very end. But what if we saw it sooner? What if we had the courage to live differently now? When one person decides to break free from the lie, it creates ripples. A parent who chooses authenticity teaches their children courage. A friend who stops pretending gives others permission to do the same. A leader who admits vulnerability inspires real trust. The ripple effect of authenticity can reshape entire families, communities, even societies. Question: who around you might be set free if you had the courage to live authentically? Section 8. Your wake-up call. The question isn't if you're living a lie. It's how much of your life is one. Let's be brutally honest. Right now as you watch this, do you feel energized by your work, or does it quietly drain you? Are your relationships built on love or on appearances? If nobody were watching, if there were no applause, no judgment, would you still be living the same life? Ivan's tragedy is that he only asked these questions at the very end. Your opportunity is to ask them now. Challenge. Tonight, take 10 minutes. Write down one area where you feel you're living a lie. Be specific. That small act of honesty could be the first crack in your facade and the first step toward freedom. Closing and key takeaways. Your authentic life is waiting, but it won't wait forever. Ivan Ilyich story is a warning and an invitation. A warning of what happens when we postpone authenticity. An invitation to live differently while we still have time. Key takeaways. Success without authenticity is just another kind of failure. The lies we live become prisons, and the cost compounds daily. Illness, loss, or crisis often reveals the truth we've been avoiding. Authenticity isn't discovered once. It's chosen every day. Your courage to live authentically frees others to do the same. Final challenge. Don't wait until your deathbed to discover you've been living a lie. This week, take one small step toward authenticity, no matter how scary. Drop a comment below. What's one truth you've been afraid to admit? You may find that by sharing it, you inspire someone else to finally break free. Because in the end, you only get one life. Make sure it's actually yours. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss the next one.